That's the core message Coach Stormy Wellington has been delivering to thousands of women for over a decade. From street marches wrapped in the language of Black feminism and spirituality, to high-end mentorship retreats that functioned more like opportunity marketing meetings, the pitch has always been the same. Stay in my circle, follow my lead, and financial freedom is waiting for you. She's even told her followers directly her presence in their lives is the reason things are getting better for them, not their own hard work, not their own decisions. Her. That kind of thinking has a name, and it isn't leadership. Now, this channel covered Stormy Wellington extensively years ago, so this isn't new territory. The pattern was visible early: an aggressive, confrontational public persona, no formal education beyond high school, multiple children with different fathers, and a long trail of public fallouts with people who were once close to her. Some of those falling outs played out very publicly online, giving outsiders a front-row seat to the dysfunction behind the motivational messaging. The gap between what she was selling and what she was actually living has always been wide, and now that gap is becoming impossible to ignore.
What she does is what y'all don't understand. This lady is the #1 network marketer for a reason. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to make y'all see things in a way at which you can relate.
Shift your energy right now. As a matter of fact, come on, shift your energy. Shift your energy. Come on.
And the pattern with her romantic life followed the same script as everything else. A new boyfriend every other year, and more often than not, those relationships came with their own controversies. The last one this channel covered was BK Mello, himself a documented scammer who preyed on Black aspiring entrepreneurs, using the same recycled buzzwords that have become the currency of modern-day grift, words like generational wealth, financial freedom, and legacy. BK Mello knew exactly how to use them, and so did Stormy. Since that chapter closed, she moved on, but the pattern didn't change. Coach Stormy made a bold public promise to help 1,000 families reach six-figure incomes within a single year. She was living visibly large, projecting an image of luxury and success. But while that image was being carefully maintained, the federal government was quietly doing its homework. On April 13, 2026, the Federal Trade Commission made its move. In a formal complaint filed in the Southern District of Florida, the FTC alleged that Stormy Wellington had been using deceptive earnings claims to lure people into multi-level marketing schemes, specifically Total Life Changes, known as TLC, and a company called Pharmavite. According to the complaint, the deceptive practices traced all the way back to 2014, when she first joined TLC and began recruiting for the organization. The numbers the FTC put forward are striking. In 2023 alone, nearly 77% of active TLC participants earned absolutely nothing, zero. And of the roughly 23% who did earn something, the overwhelming majority brought in between just $1 and $250 for the entire year. Meanwhile, Stormy was on camera promising six figures and talking about creating 60 new millionaires by 2026. The picture gets even clearer when you look at Pharmavite. Fewer than 1% of participants ever reached the six-figure income she was promising. And on the TLC side, less than 4% of participants ever earned more than $5,000 in a year. That is the reality behind the generational wealth messaging. The FTC documented a clear and consistent pattern spanning 5 years, the same claims repeated across Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and live events in 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025. They tracked all of it, cataloged it, and built a case around it. Now, here's what makes this story even more telling in a broader context. When I think about Coach Stormy, I can't help but draw a parallel to another figure this channel covered, April Mason. A few years ago, April Mason was operating out of Atlanta, charging Black women $10,000 to attend professional sporting events where she would teach them how to attract and pursue wealthy men. The pitch was essentially identity coaching, how to reshape yourself, present a curated version of who you are, and use that to secure a financially comfortable relationship. At the same time, Coach Stormy was in Miami charging black women $15,000, 50% more, promising to turn them into millionaire boss women through MLM. One was selling the art of performing femininity to extract wealth from men. The other was selling the illusion of entrepreneurship to extract wealth.
2 years. Although, people say, why would she close if she was, making money? No, it's very lucrative. Put it like this. I'm gonna keep it at 1,000 with you. If you ever want to make a lot of money, join the dating industry and give women fluff. You see, they only
When investigators examined her numbers and her methods, what they found wasn't just misleading marketing. The complaint specifically highlights that Stormy actively instructed her downline to stop focusing on selling actual products and shift their energy entirely toward recruiting new members. She allegedly coached them to call people and tell them they were participating in the greatest wealth transfer in history. A convenient new phrase, one she likely picked up somewhere along the way, possibly during her time in circles that included figures like Grant Cardone, who has made that kind of language famous in the motivational and sales space. But here's where it gets particularly troubling. According to the FTC, Stormy either knew or absolutely should have known that those claims had no basis in reality. Because while she was allegedly pulling in over $200,000 per month personally, the overwhelming majority of the women in her network, the ones she called her community, the ones holding her hand, which is actually part of the name of her group, were not building wealth. They were losing money. Hemorrhaging it, in fact, on business expenses, travel costs, and products they simply could not move. To put her personal success in full context, back in 2024, Total Life Changes publicly celebrated Coach Stormy's 10-year anniversary with the company and acknowledged that she had earned over $50 million during that decade with them. $50 million, while the women she was recruiting were earning zero. That level of personal financial success helps explain why, when the black community organized a boycott of major corporations during Blackout Day in 2020, Coach Stormy's response rubbed a lot of people the wrong way.
I'm an example of being tricked out your spot. You silenced yourself. Therefore, no one saw your business. You probably lost 50, 60, 70% of your sales today. So busy trying to be a follower. Your business today suffered. I know it did, because my business today suffered, okay? We stand for social justice. We stand for equality. We stand to eradicate racism. I do not stand to lose my business. I do not stand for my sales to be declined. I do not stand to fall short of my goals. So y'all can play. But tomorrow, I ain't playing. Tomorrow, I go even harder. Now I got to make up for the $100,000 I lost today while y'all want to black out. You know what? I'm back in. I'm done with the blackout. Tomorrow, I goes harder. No holds barred. I ain't holding back. I don't even want to go to sleep today because I feel like I got to make it for the 24 hours that I lost today. So y'all could be asleep if y'all want. And let these people play on y'all intelligence and fuck up y'all business and decline y'all numbers. And now y'all got to try to figure out how to make it for one day. Do y'all know corporation could go out of business for one day of a decline? Y'all asleep.
The reason Coach Stormy opposed the blackout boycott wasn't complicated. She needed to protect the business that was making her rich, the same business that she had built largely on the backs of black women who were desperate for a real path to financial independence. Protecting that company meant protecting her own income stream, and at the peak of her earnings within the organization, that stream was significant, reportedly reaching as much as $500,000 in a single month, while the women at the bottom of her network were making absolutely nothing. Worse than nothing, actually. They were losing money. And that's the core of what the FTC is arguing. This isn't simply a case of someone being overly optimistic with their projections. The FTC's position is more specific and more serious than that. They contend that Stormy repeatedly made concrete high-income promises to recruit people into these companies, while knowing full well that the overwhelming majority of participants would earn little to nothing. And she did this consistently across multiple platforms over a period of years. Under FTC law, that combination, specific income promises, repeated over time, with knowledge of the real outcomes, meets the legal definition of a deceptive earnings scheme. That was the complaint, but the story doesn't end there. A proposed settlement has already been established. Under the terms of that order, Stormy Wellington is now permanently prohibited from making the kinds of income claims that built her following. She can no longer use images of luxury homes, high-end vehicles, or lavish travel to suggest that her followers can expect the same lifestyle, unless she has written documentation to substantiate
The enemy would try to steal, kill, and destroy your confidence, your focus, and to try to distract you. But your responsibility is to stay focused at all costs. No matter what tries to come your way, when you know who you are and whose you are, you don't let little things throw you off your A game. Little things. And so just remember to stay focused no matter what adversity comes your way, no matter who tries to come up against you. Know that you are a child of God. And as a child of God, you got to know that no weapon formed against you shall be able to prosper. So what the weapons form? You don't allow them.
And yet, even with all of that laid out in official federal documents, signed, filed, and a matter of public record, a significant portion of her following still isn't willing to accept it. Right now, her supporters are active on social media defending her. The responses range from dismissing the FTC complaint as hate, to framing it as jealousy, to arguing that the government is simply targeting a successful black woman and trying to bring her down. The documented evidence, the specific numbers, the years of tracked claims, none of it appears to be breaking through. And that's actually the most revealing part of this entire story, because instead of treating a federal complaint as a warning sign worth examining, many of her followers are responding by doubling down on the exact same thinking that drew them in originally. That's not loyalty, that's the lasting effect of deeply embedded influence. When people have been conditioned to dismiss criticism as an attack, factual evidence becomes almost impossible to penetrate. And Stormy herself isn't exactly stepping back quietly. She's been sending signals to her community, subtly encouraging them to rally behind her and hold the line, letting them do the public defending while she stays one step removed.
So dog whistling, telling them to have her back.
Can be real to people. I feel so good when I think about the amount of women that has been able to live a better life because I'm in it. You got to live the vision for it to be real, right? Live it means do the things that's gonna make the vision be able to be seen. As a matter of fact, I just got to tell you all, I love y'all so much. I don't want y'all trying to in this season. Honestly, I'm being real. If it was me, and somebody said something about one of my people that I know was the real deal, oh, I'm going to say something. But I'm not going to spend my time trying to defend, but I ain't going to be quiet. Hell no, I ain't going to be quiet about somebody that been a blessing to me. I'm sorry. I don't care what you got to say. But see, some of y'all scared. Some of y'all too scared to stand up. And I don't want you to stand up for me. If you one of them little softies, them little power puff people that somebody blowing you when you scared, or somebody say something back to you, you going to stop.
Stormy needs to stop playing games with the federal government. The FTC doesn't operate like an internet debate. When they decide to pursue someone, they build their case methodically and thoroughly. She has already been ordered to notify her entire downline about the complaint and warn them about what the investigation uncovered. But watch how she's handling even that requirement. She posted a message to her community essentially saying she doesn't want weak people defending her. On the surface, it sounds like she's distancing herself from the controversy. But look closer at the framing. Nobody wants to be called weak. So what actually happens, her followers prove their loyalty by doing exactly what she claimed she didn't want. They step up and defend her even harder. It's a textbook psychological pressure move, and it worked exactly as intended. Now, here's the part of this story that's hard to ignore. For years, Stormy leaned heavily on her personal background as the foundation of her brand. The former dancer, the high school dropout, the woman who came from nothing and built something. That narrative resonated deeply with her audience. And for a lot of the women following her, at least one chapter of that story felt familiar. It created a bond that went beyond business. But she didn't stop at relatability. She layered in spirituality, higher purpose language, and emotional connection, talking about God, destiny, and awakening, while simultaneously maintaining an image and aesthetic that contradicted much of that messaging. When people called her out on the contradiction, she didn't take it well.
And that's exactly how the dynamic became so powerful. When you blend motivation with religion, meditation, and identity-level language, the message stops feeling like a business pitch. It starts feeling like a calling, like belonging, like destiny. That kind of emotional foundation creates a loyalty that facts alone struggle to break through. It's less about what the FTC documented and more about the personal bond her followers feel they have with her. She put them in a headspace that's genuinely difficult to step out of, and that's by design. For years, she told these women that if they weren't succeeding, it was because they lacked vision or discipline or commitment. But the FTC's own data tells a
My career has been significantly affected by, obviously there are some people that I guess, I don't know where this came from. I really don't know how this happened. My career has been significantly affected by the allegations. But the truth is, what has happened is already in the past. One of the things that